this, that the JCVI, the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunisation, is not recommending COVID vaccines for healthy children between the ages of 12 and 15. That breaking news just into us. Let's explore this more with our correspondent, Ali Fortescue, who is in the newsroom. And just a short time ago, we were talking, weren't we, to Professor Jeremy Brown, and very, very cagey on that specific issue. We perhaps now know why.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think this has come as quite a surprise because, as you say, just a few moments ago, we were talking to Professor Jeremy Brown, who was telling us that there had not yet been a decision reached and wasn't telling us exactly whether or not we were going to find out soon whether children between the ages of 12 and 15 were to be vaccinated. We know, of course, that the vaccine rollout, the first doses have been expanded to children who are 16 years old, but there was plenty of speculation about whether school-age children were going to get that vaccine too. And we know that there's been an open letter written today from parents, unions, scientists, including scientists from the independent SAGE group, urging younger children, the government, to look at vaccinating younger children so that they can be better protected. And of course, that is a big tranche of society, children that are now back at school, mixing. So I think there had been many who had expected the rollout to be expanded to those younger age groups, but we now have confirmation that the vaccine is not being recommended by the government's vaccine advisors for children aged between 12 and 15. But they do go on to say that the programme is being extended from what they'd been considered most at-risk children to include children who also have chronic major heart illnesses, lung, kidney, liver and neurological conditions. So that means that about 200,000 more children are going to be invited for vaccines. But the breaking news this afternoon is that children aged between 12 and 15 years old are not being recommended by the government's vaccine advisors to receive the COVID-19 jab.
Yes, indeed, Ali, and we've got some word coming out now from the JCVI that says benefits are insufficient to support this mass vaccination for 12 to 15-year-olds, but those with underlying health conditions will get it. So certainly not across the board. And as you say, there's something of a surprise. So all these details are coming out now. It's just very interesting, wasn't it? We didn't know how to read Professor Jeremy Brown when we were talking to him. When he was talking specifically, I asked him about 12 to 15-year-olds. I hardly said anything on it. But the other thrust of what we were talking about was this booster programme, suggestions even as early as next Monday that they might be introduced. But that's not going to happen because the JCVI haven't signed off. And he said, ideally, there is actually no rush to do that.
So I think the key to it is getting...
Yeah, that's right. It was really interesting, actually, listening to what he was saying about booster vaccines. We've heard the Prime Minister confirming, really, that that will be happening from September. But he, again, wouldn't be drawn on that. And crucially, he did say that there is no evidence yet that the protection that the vaccines are offering to people has faded yet. So he suggested that we did still have some time, but he did say that the protection would fade more quickly in elderly people. We know, of course, that 500,000 of the most clinically vulnerable have been told that they need to come and get a third dose of the COVID vaccine. And I think we are now seeing a refocus on when people will be getting those booster vaccines. Some people looking to Israel and the rising cases there, suggesting that that is a sign that we need to be thinking very soon about booster vaccines. But he wouldn't really be drawn on specific dates. He did say that they wouldn't fall prey to ministerial pressure. But I think, as you say, the most important thing this afternoon really is the news now that those younger age groups for children aged between 12 and 15 will not be receiving their doses of the COVID vaccine.